So it looks like we've discovered more details regarding the reason why the Wendy Williams Show YouTube channel cannot be found on YouTube. And we have to talk more about the Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook being taken down. Welcome back to the Kempire Daily YouTube channel, your #1 source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. So as you know, we did a video just last night talking about the Wendy Williams YouTube page being deleted. However, apparently, it may have not been deleted. But I said to you that there seems to be more going on here. We have to remember that the last season, season 13 of the Wendy Williams Show, was not hosted by Wendy Williams. Wendy Williams reportedly, there were reports that Wendy Williams was not in communication with the production team, with the show. Based on what we're seeing and how everything has been playing out, it seems to be the truth, despite Wendy saying that she spoke to debar-mercury and that things are in a good place. It seems, though, that the details of how this was supposed to end is still very much up in the air. Look, we're straight shooters, so we're not going to be like, oh, debar-mercury, you didn't do what you're supposed to do. You're trying to delete her legacy. It seemed that way, at least to the public, because we're like, why are things just disappearing? One of our loyal subscribers called in earlier today to talk about this and to also give us some sort of, what could the other possibility be? And Miss Brooklyn Diamond said it. She said, well, these things are in contracts. Maybe they haven't figured out how syndication is going to work, who owns what.
For Wendy, as Prince would say, who owns your masters? What did her contract say? Did her contract give her the rights to the show and everything and reposting? Because it could be a money thing while they work this out and why they had to pull from it. Yeah. Because if the show owns it and they own her name as the part of the title of the show and she's seeking, monetary compensation from it, they might have had to pull it down until whatever contract is negotiated, finalized, whatever write-off's going to be, syndications, all that kind of thing, because now YouTube is would be the syndication, so to speak, because you're not going to put the show on syndication on television, but you would do it on YouTube. So there might have to be some type of, renegotiation of that contract. So I wouldn't get too worried about it right now.
The other part of that too is what happens to the old episodes of the Wendy Williams Show, because that also can be put on to BET and people could be rewatching it there too. That probably hasn't been figured out.
In this, So in this whole new world of YouTube and all that type of things, where talk shows weren't usually syndicated before, they came on live, it went away, that was it. Things are different in our new world of communication. So something that might not have been negotiated prior is something that now has to be taken into account. And then again, like I said, who owns the masters? Who actually owns the show? Who owns the tapes? Who owns all of that is something that has to be, discussed. So there's a lot of legalese going in with that. So I can understand them pulling everything down until that's settled, because you'd have a lawsuit if they were making money off of it all and Wendy wasn't getting anything, and she might, be going to get something. So there's probably a lot going on behind the scenes.
Yeah. And keep in mind too, she's literally in a financial guardianship. So there's also that hiccup in the situation.
Yeah. So there's a lot for them to unpack legally.
And if Wendy has not been in communication with debar-mercury, the production company that produces the Wendy Williams Show, and her team is really much up in the air. As I mentioned to you before, Will Selby is her new manager, but that's very new. And they're talking about a podcast. And I said before you worry about any podcasts, you've got to figure out Wendy Williams' legacy. And that means what will happen to the Wendy Williams shows, the reruns of that, because they can be rerun on other networks. What will happen to the entities like her YouTube page, her Facebook page, her Twitter page? All of that stuff has been taken down or privatized. So I know a lot of times when we report on these stories, we say deleted, but we didn't know. We didn't know. But thankfully, our community is one of the best investigators. Not only are we body language experts and sometimes lawyers and sometimes doctors, we're also private eyes. Shout out to you guys in our Discord that found this information. So if you go to the debar-mercury website, they have links to the shows that they produce. And one of those shows, of course, is the Wendy Williams Show. And when you go to her particular page on the Wendy Williams Show, and there is an embedded video from the Wendy Williams Show there, it says this video is private. And if you know these YouTube streets, we understand what that means. That means the content isn't gone. They've just taken it down for now. Probably while they're trying to figure these details out. Because I know a lot of you are thinking, but don't they make money off of people watching and sharing? And yes, they do, but maybe they haven't figured out the splits of how that's supposed to be handled with how much does Wendy get? How much does debar-mercury get? I'm thinking that is what is going on here. Because in this last year, Wendy's team has fallen apart. Let's be real. And she's been dealing with her own stuff along with the Wells Fargo stuff. And she has this new financial guardian who I'm sure has to be a part of all of these conversations. Where is this money going to go? How is this money going to be handled? As you know, we reported on the most recent interview that Wendy Williams did with TMZ Live. And I said to you, it was very clear that the woman that we know and love from radio days to, you know, the Wendy Williams Show is definitely still dealing with something. So she may not be in the position right now, to make these types of decisions. And debar-mercury had to make the decision, how do we move forward? And the way that they can move forward, because it also is an expense to maintain the YouTube channels. Who's going to maintain this? It can't just sit there. Who's going to maintain this? Who's going to maintain the other social media channels? So those are details that Wendy Williams' team, along with debar-mercury, have to figure out. They have to figure out. And like I said to you before, I don't know if this is what's really happening. I'm speculating based on what we found out so far. So based on what we can definitely tell you, the Wendy Williams YouTube page has not been deleted. It's been made private. But we made that speculation earlier today. It will be interesting to see, though, what will happen next in regards to the Wendy Williams legacy. I think the first thing they have to figure out is Wendy Williams' personal situation. Right now, she does not have control over her finances, despite them saying maybe in July. We're here in July, and that has not been settled. I really hope that they're, you know, at least when it comes to her family, and I'm not reporting on Tommy. Tommy, you can go sit down. Yes, I saw Tommy always say, yeah, I lied. And so how am I supposed to know what you're saying now, Tommy Williams, her brother, that you're saying the truth? I think you're trying to find a moment. Excuse us. Little Kev, he's going to have to step up. He's going to have to be very much involved because he is the next person that will maintain her legacy and be a part of those conversations. And I know a lot of people don't like Big Kelvin. However, he will be able to at least help his son guide those decisions. And I don't know the update. Has his lawsuit been dismissed? You know, I really don't keep up to date with Kelvin Hunter. But as you know, he was also suing debar-mercury for terminating his part in the Wendy Williams Show. Either way, guys, we're going to continue to follow this story, but at least this is a little bit of sign of hope that in the future, the Wendy Williams YouTube page and her social media networks will be restored once they figure out how to move forward when it comes to the Wendy Williams estate. Guys, let's continue this conversation below. I want to hear your thoughts and opinions. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. Thanks for watching.